Happy holidays, friends! We are on day 9 of our 12 Days of Christmas mini-series. My name is Taryn. I am the founder and principal planner for Taryn Stark Wyant Event Planning and Design. We are a wedding planning and design firm that specializes in servicing destination wedding clientele worldwide. We are doing this mini-series in an attempt to help and hopefully educate some of our newly engaged couples this 2024 season on the sometimes stressful and daunting idea of hosting a destination wedding. The fact of the matter is, it can feel very daunting and stressful, but it doesn't have to be that way. And so we are addressing 12 different questions that we receive frequently from inquiring couples, and hopefully the answers will help you feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more prepared for what it looks like if you're choosing to host a destination wedding. So we're gonna dive right in. Day 9, we are addressing the question of what steps do destination wedding planners take to help minimize stress for their destination clients? This is huge. The whole reason you hire a wedding planner is probably to mitigate some of your stress. So how do we do that though? The first thing that TS Wed does is that we make sure that we are fostering a really personal and genuine connection with our clients. It is so important that you know and trust us and that we know and understand you. Founder of WedPro CEO Brandy Garr, she talks a lot about addressing a client's pain points. And I think this resonates so beautifully with anybody in the wedding industry. It's our job as your partner on this process to understand what your pain points are. We want to know, what are your big stressors? What are you concerned about or worried about or thinking about? And how can we as the experts address that? A really common stressor and pain point for our inquiring clientele is time management. Most of our clients are really well-established career people who are busy. You don't have 40 extra hours a week to plan a destination wedding. And so how do we address this? Well, that's one thing that we learn about in our very personal discovery process and address with our couples. Your job isn't to spend 40 hours a week on your wedding. That's my job. My job is to take all of that stress off your plate, all of that time that you would be spending talking to vendors, curating diagrams, managing guest lists, making a wedding website. That's us. We want to do that. We love that. That's what you're paying us for. That's why we got into this profession. And so that's a really big one, is that we really want to have a personalized experience with our clients so that we can curate the planning process to genuinely speak to your pain points and to accommodate them. The next thing that we do is we manage your vendors expertly. So a lot of day of coordinators or venue coordinators will ask their couples to coordinate with the vendors directly and then communicate that back to the planner for the day of execution. That is not what TS Wed does. We do not offer that service. Rather, we are a full service wedding planning firm, which means that we hold your hand throughout the entire process and serve as your partner and your advocate throughout it all. All of your eggs will be in one basket with us. You're not going to be talking to the 27 different vendors that are contributing to making your wedding week a reality. You don't have the time for that. You don't have the time to manage those email trails, to handle all of those Zoom chats, to review with a fine-tooth comb every last one of those insurance policies. Instead, we take care of that for you. Your main point of contact throughout the entirety of the TS Wed planning process is going to be myself and Danny, and that is it. Now, that's not to say that you won't have an opportunity to talk to your vendors if that's important to you, especially with a vendor like hair and makeup, for instance. It can be really meaningful for a couple to speak with their hair and makeup artist to best communicate their needs and wishes, but also to speak via Zoom or FaceTime so they can actually see in real life, not in, a picture with a filter on it on Instagram, what they're going to be working with. And so if and when those conversations need to be facilitated, we facilitate it for you. We're the third person on the screen taking notes and going, okay, her hair doesn't hold a curl, and so it's going to be really important to use this specific type of hairspray that she has found works for her. And so we're still doing the legwork, even if you are face-to-face with a vendor in advance. And again, that means you don't have to remember anything about the call. You don't have to take those notes and ensure that the vendor is bringing that product. We do that for you, which just eliminates that stress one step further. The next thing that we do that's really important is we simplify the decision-making process for you. Let's just take venues. When considering a destination wedding, you have the world at your fingertips. It is a great, big, beautiful world full of culture and tradition, and there are so many places you could pick to host your wedding, and that can feel completely overwhelming. And we know it. We've been there. And so that is part of why we partner with a luxury travel planner who is simply a part of your TS Wed experience. And that partner helps us find the best choices for you. So after we've gone through a really in-depth discovery process with you, and after we have a clear understanding of your vision, your aesthetic, your budget, your priorities, your pain points, we gather all of that information and we collaborate with our luxury travel planner and say, okay, considering all this information, where do we think are good places to go? And we take all things into account. We take into account the travel time, the cost of accommodation, the time of year. All of these things are considered as we start curating and minimizing this list of proposed venue options. Ultimately, we break it down to about 3 to 5 different locations. And I don't just mean like, okay, you could pick Italy. I mean, you could pick Villa del Balbianello in Lake Como, Italy. Here is all the information about that location and why we think it could be a great fit based on everything else that we already know about you. This is so valuable to our couples, and we feel so grateful to have fine-tuned this experience. It just, having the entire world at your fingertips is a beautiful concept in theory, and yet it can be really daunting. Rather, having a refined list simplifies your decision-making process, it saves you time, and it makes the experience fun. This should be enjoyable. This is once in a lifetime. It should be exquisite. And so we're very focused on, with each service, whether it's a venue or a vendor, a menu, we do our best to really refine the options that are available to you to best accommodate your needs before we present them to you. The next thing that we do in terms of helping to manage your stress is that we are super creative problem solvers. If you followed us yesterday in day 8, you heard a little bit about how we approach problem solving on site. However, we also problem solve well in advance of the wedding. If, for example, we have a photographer already booked for you, photographer of your dreams, and she realizes that she accidentally double booked. This has never happened. But if that were to happen, we would then problem solve that before you knew about it. So either we would go to bat for you and say, I am so sorry, you already confirmed this and this is our contract, et cetera, and so you are going to honor this. Or we go, okay, we signed last, oh my gosh, what do we do? Okay, we can have a second shooter. Okay, we can get one of these other 4 exquisite photographers available. Oh, we can, whatever it is, we are problem solving well before you even know there's a problem. So that way, if we have to go to you with said problem, which 9 times out of 10, we don't, we solve it on your behalf and you have no idea anything happened. But on that rare chance that we do have to approach you with a problem, we also approach you with 6 different solutions for the problem. So that way, again, you're already presented with a refined list of options from which to choose so that your stress isn't catapulting through the roof. The next thing that we do, and this is something that's so important, is that we work tirelessly to build trust and emotional connection with you. We will talk about this in the inquiry process all the time because Danny and I are so personal and so authentic with the way that we approach this business. We become great friends with our clients. We absolutely love our couples. Oh my goodness, we love their families. We've done siblings' weddings. We've done cousins' weddings. And it is such a joy to be able to connect with people on that really authentic and intentional level in a way that does provide emotional support, does provide confidence and trust. And just having that in a partner who's putting your needs first and foremost as we approach this planning process, that alone relieves a ton of stress, especially on your part, but even in your family's part. People just know and walk into the events with confidence that, oh, there's Taryn and Danny. They've been with us for the last year and they're a part of the family now. And that's how we feel about our couples too. So that really does eliminate a lot of stress. And then, of course, day of, we are fully present and execute flawlessly. Even if there's a hiccup, it's dealt with behind the scenes, it's dealt with purposefully and with intention, so that all you're doing on your wedding day is relaxing, knowing that we've got you covered. You don't have to worry, and we take it from there. So that is a big deal about how we approach the planning process in terms of stress management for our couples, and we feel so honored to be able to do so.